Yo, what is up, guys? What is up? Special guest today. Special guest today. Hated division rival, head of the Cowboys nation out there. One of the great cowboy content creators, putting in that work, letting everybody know the situation on his Dallas Cowboys, and also, he'll throw in a little bit of spice going with the Philadelphia Eagles. As you know, he goes at it with Philly 500. The great battle, the great debate between the Eagles and the Cowboys. So without further ado, everybody, this is Mark Holmes. Can you hear me, Mark? Are you there?
I am here. I can hear you loud and clear. Let me give a shout out to you, man. I appreciate you giving me a buzz and saying, "Hey, you'd like to bring some Cowboys content and stuff on your channel here," and really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man, and this is I think it's great that you're doing collabs and stuff like that. It's just great to have different people and different people's perspectives. I respect your perspective on your Cowboys, and I know you hate them stinking Eagles. The hate is real, but it's at the end of the day, it's all good, man. I respect you as a man. I respect you as a family man, and being a little bit younger than you, not so much younger, but I respect that you're still doing your thing and still hanging with all the new young blood, the new generation, and you're still able to talk junk with the best of them. So I respect that angle, and you got your son over there, Michael Anthony Fitness, and go ahead and could you tell me, like, the family? How big is your family, Mark?
Oh well, of course I have my wife, my lovely wife, and then I have three kids actually, two
Okay.
of my own, and we're a blended family, and my stepdaughter as well. So it's five of us all together. But all of them are grown. All of them are grown, and I guess you could almost say we're almost like an empty nester, so to speak.
That's good. So, kind of, do you feel like you got some of your time back, where you get to relax a little bit, or being that they're old, is it more stressful, or you just feel a little bit more? You kind of did your job already.
I'm kind of a nut where I go crazy if I'm not busy.
Okay.
While YouTube is great and being a Dallas Cowboys YouTuber, with the Dallas Cowboys, there's always drama. You know,
Yes, sir.
and I mean, even within Cowboy fans and stuff, we're like crabs in a barrel because you know uh, everybody literally picks a side on what to go on. Between Dak Prescott's probably more hated by Cowboy fans than any other. Than everybody else combined by Cowboy fans, and literally Cowboy fans are losing their minds right now because we've lost our three preseason games. It's like, oh, we suck at it. It's like, y'all know this preseason game doesn't really count, right? You know that this is,
Right.
you're not game planning. This is not, winning it means nothing. The Detroit Lions
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
4-0 and go 0-16. So you feel good about those four preseason wins? I don't think so. But yeah, so I stay busy between doing this, and I'm also a general contractor, and I do
Yeah.
woodworking. So from the time I get up in the morning till the time I go to bed, I stay busy. And for me, I like to, if there's news on the Cowboys, I don't care where I am, I will go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
This morning, I was literally about to get a root canal, and Jerry
Right.
Jones came out there talking about,
Oh yeah.
the whole COVID, and I was like, okay, I got to get this out here right now.
Right. Right. So, it, and I do get it and stuff. I see our how our preseason's going, and there's little cool things. Quez Watkins looks like he might be for real. And it looks like Jalen, even though it was like a rough start, it looks like the coach has been kind of yelling at him to just kind of like, let's get it together here. This is your second year. Let's just kind of put the pieces to the puzzle together and show them your talent, as you were drafted a number one pick. So I think it's time to let the NFL know your talent. So as far as that goes, uh, do you watch Baldy's breakdowns?
Yeah,
Baldinger.
yeah,
Okay, so what I like about Baldy is that
the end. But yeah,
he's been showing a lot of Cowboys, especially with Mika.
like Parsons, yeah.
Yeah. So besides him, I mean, he obviously looking good out there. Do you see anybody that came from the draft that might be potentially a starter out there, or really close? Anybody sticking out to you?
Kevin Joseph, Boss Man Fat, is actually playing really well. Um, they had penciled in originally Anthony Brown, of course, the veteran, to be the starter out there, but Kevin Joseph is kind of giving a run for his money, and it may be one of those things where they look at Anthony Brown and say, Anthony Brown is $6 million cap hit. We can save $2.5 million this year and start the process of this younger guy going. And so he definitely may end up being a starter. Also, I tell you what, um, Neville Gallimore actually having a dislocating his elbow against the Cardinals last week has opened the door for other guys on the defensive line. And if you remember how bad our Dallas Cowboys defensive line was last year, it's definitely going to be night and day, big better. OC, I can't. I can't even pronounce it. Okay, I OC. Okay, I cannot pronounce his last name. A collegiate wrestler as well as defensive tackle. That brother is fast, and he has a heck of a push. He uses his hands really well. He will probably be a day one starter out there as well. And of course, Micah Parsons. I mean, Micah, just his impact alone, the fact that we went into the season thinking that Tristan Hill and maybe we re-sign um, Antoine Woods being our defensive front, and looking at Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch being our starting linebacker core. Jalen Smith's about the number 4 linebacker right now. So the Cowboys have brought in definitely some younger talent, and definitely have upgraded on what they're doing. They're definitely going to be playing more downhill than basically dazed and confused.
Yeah. So, as far as your defense goes, where is your highest level of concern right now to you?
My highest level of concern,
Yeah.
um, after being 29th in the NFL, uh, I know anything is going to be an improvement. The question will be is actually, I think corner is my bigger concern right now, is because Kevin Joseph will be a rookie, because uh, Diggs is coming on to his second year. It's still a real young secondary. But the way you can counter that is if your front seven can put pressure. And I think with Randy Gregory, with D Law out there, with Micah Parsons, and getting a coach who seems to know how to reach players better than Mike Nolan. I tell you, one of the things that was really interesting to me is, we're a 4-3-3-4 hybrid. Okay, that sounds great in theory. That was the same thing that Mike Nolan had said last year. But here's the thing that's interesting is the players seem to buy in. The players seem to be excited, and it may be that they have younger guys that are more impressionable than your Emerson Griffin. It's like you've played for 10 years or so. You're not ready to change. But seeing like Randy Gregory in this past game going from the first play in a 3-point stance and going upfield attacking the quarterback, then 2 plays later seeing him in a 2-point stance rushing, and then him dropping off in pass coverage, the Cowboys are going to be coming at you from a lot of different angles than they used to. A lot of people would say pretty much, or you could look at them and say, the Cowboys would line up 10, 15 seconds before the play went off, and pretty much that was the defense. They didn't change. They didn't hide in disguise very much. That's going to go out the window with the Cowboys. So I feel pretty good about where they're headed right now. And if my offense can do what they do, we'll be okay.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Let me get to another question. Let's see. All right. So, on your YouTube, career, I believe you were just talking about it recently. It's so funny because I was going to ask you these questions. I believe you said you started. Is it 2012? You started doing your channel.
Um,
Is
my
that
daughter,
right?
yeah, my daughter was actually a YouTuber. My daughter shoots probably about 12, 13 years ago said, Dad, I'm moving to California. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, how are you doing that? She's like, through YouTube. I'm like, okay. So she's been doing YouTube a lot longer than I have. And so she helped me start a channel in 2012. Nobody watched it. Most of the things that I was actually doing was actually on Facebook, which is nice. You get people to give you a thumbs up or a like and all that. But when I would put videos on YouTube, nobody really ever watched it. And in 2016, I think I was up to about 500 subscribers. But I had put out a video the day after the Senior Bowl. I watched the Senior Bowl. I'm not a big college guy. I'll be the first one to tell you.
Right.
I don't have enough time to watch college football. In fact, the way I deal with the NFL, me and my wife have an agreement that okay, if you stick to the NFL and do it the way you're doing, that's cool. You get another sport, we're gonna get divorced. So it's like, okay, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
I'll
So
take it. You'll take it,
yeah,
huh?
but so I was watching the Senior Bowl because I was actually looking for Carson Wentz because the Cowboys were coaching the Senior Bowl. Everybody had all the buzz about Carson Wentz and stuff, and then I started seeing Dak Prescott, and I was like, "Who's this guy? Why isn't anybody talking about him?" And so I did a video and I watched some of his college highlights, and I was like, "That's the perfect guy for the Cowboys." And that literally was the video I put out. When I put it out, then it only had a couple hundred views on it until Tony Romo got hurt. Then everybody all of a sudden they're like looking for, who is this kid?
Right.
And that video then got up to like, 30,000 views and stuff. And then people started watching my channel. And so by my birthday in October that year, I got to my first 1,000 people. And after that, it just kept steadily growing and growing and growing until YouTube actually, I guess it was 2018 or 2019. For
Hmm.
whatever reason, the YouTube bots shut down my channel. They
Oh
said
man.
for spam. So I
Oh,
started. So this is actually the channel I had opened up for doing cooking. So I just started rebuilding from this channel and just kept going on from there.
that's cool, man. And you know, when you watch old videos and all that stuff, like how do you from back then to now, like how big of did you see the growth? Did you see this happening to, you got all your I like that patio that you made out there. It kind of gives me that I can't think of it the podcaster guy.
Yeah.
But I like that you can go outside, be inside. So I like that you verse you little made down there. The Mark Holmes verse down there. So
Oh yeah.
I think it's really cool that you're expanding like that. Oh, I guess it's Dan Patrick because Dan Patrick he had that his home. I believe it was his home studio, and he just kind of grew it from there. And I think it was a great idea. So it's kind of like you did your own little Mark Holmes studio, where maybe you're gonna have some guests go to your house and stuff. I think that'd be pretty awesome idea, which I think you might have had. Have you had
I did.
some?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Like maybe
That,
I don't know. Maybe one day 500 is gonna make the trip.
well, that actually came about because of really COVID. Um,
Right.
when originally I'd planned to go to Vegas for the draft, and then all of a sudden COVID shut everything down, and then all of a sudden it was just like, how are we going to function? So all of a sudden now can't have fans in the stands, everybody's at home, and I always like being around people watching games and stuff. And normally right now I'm actually in the man cave down here, and usually
Right.
I've got a bar that's over here on the right, and we got the sofas over here, and a TV over here. There's a TV on the wall. We'd always have 5-10 people over for the games, and it's like I don't know that we need to have 5 or 10 people inside together, with COVID. And so I said maybe I can go ahead and do something out back because I always had built a cabinet with the TV in there. So I was like, let's just hang out there. And so from that point, it's just kind of grown and grown and grown. In fact, what we're going to be doing this year is we'll probably have about, uh, you know, 10 to 20 people hanging out and stuff out there. We've got the Sunday ticket, and we basically have about 5 television screens that are set up with all the games on it. And we're going to kind of be like a sports center. So with
Okay.
us now having a couple fantasy football leagues together, we'll do fantasy football updates, and we'll literally start out from the 1 o'clock game and go until the end of the Sunday night games, just live stream the whole thing and just following the NFL.
That's sweet. Let me give a couple shout outs. Coach Dante in the room, Jordy, BLSG saying what's up. What's up, Mark?
What's up, man?
Uh,
Good.
Big Play Slay says I believe he agrees with you. He says now that you got rid of Mike Nolan, your defense is going to be 10 times better without that guy.
Well, it can't be any worse. Okay, literally. I actually have a clip because I wanted to. I'm not right now. I mean, I don't have the clip here, but I was
Yeah.
watching a clip. If you saw Odell Beckham Jr.'s run on the Cleveland Browns game, everybody talks about it's my man Rashid up here. Dak Prescott is just garbage time. That's the only time he gets his yard. But in that Cleveland game, going to that fourth quarter, the Cowboys were only down by 4 points, and they had
Right.
scored and scored and scored and scored. And you felt like if the Cowboys can get a stop, they're going to go down and score and win this game.
Right.
And what happened is Odell Beckham goes, they do a reverse to Odell. You have Alden Smith, kind of take a shallow route on him. Odell gets past him, and then you literally see the worst tackling attempts, the worst pursuit angles. You literally see people run out of bounds with him coming behind him, not even seeing them. And you could literally see that everything that was wrong with the Dallas Cowboys defense on that one play. You see Jalen Smith taking kind of a banana route to try and get him instead of having understanding that the closest point is a straight line. And literally, Odell Beckham breaks our back. Watching the Dallas Cowboys preseason right now and seeing these guys right now, you're seeing, multiple guys going to the football. You're seeing speed that's out there. You're seeing players that seem like they're reacting as opposed to trying to think and make up for blunders. And you've got to at least feel like just from that standpoint alone that the team will be better. And we got rid of the Don Terry Pose. Let's be clear. Don
Yeah.
Terry Poe came into training camp on the pup list and basically,
Right.
I'm just here so I can get a check.
Right.
Just was. And that was most of the defense. Tyrone Crawford was coming back from double hip surgery. And, he ended up being one of your starting tackles. I mean, come on. It was just bad all the way through.
Jock Talk, another West Coast brother over here. If Eagles didn't draft Wentz, I wanted Eagles to draft Dak. I liked him at Texas A&M. Nikki says, shout out to Nikki Cunningham. She says, ooh, look who it is. Marky Mark, what's up, buddy?
What's up? How you doing?
Let's see. All right, you got the mugs and stickers. Yeah, I do like giveaways here. I give back to the fans when I hit certain mile markers per se.
Mhm.
And I like giving back to the fans, sort of kind of what you do. You do cool things for your fans as well, which I know it goes a long way. I've seen where, there was a gentleman that I believe he was in the hospital and he was watching your show and, you gave him the shout out and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that stuff you do, Mark. I think it goes unnoticed sometimes, because of all the craziness, the Cowboys, like you said, the cowboy drama and all that stuff. But like, I do notice things that you do that, the care, even if it's a Philadelphia fan, like, you give the props to them. When I forgot his name right now, but he had the COVID and
the bird,
the one, yeah, I forget his name right now, but I appreciate you like doing stuff like that. It means a lot. Like, and anytime I could donate or when someone's in need, that comes first. And another thing that I wanted to say about that I love that you have on your show is that you acknowledge the ladies. I know you do that. The ladies night, and that damn song is stuck in my head thanks to you, Mark. But like I said, I do have like females coming on the show because I think it's important, man. I think it's important, especially like if couples are actually on the same team. So if your wife is a Cowboys fan, that makes it a lot easier. If she's like, if she was an Eagles fan, oh my God, I can imagine what dinner would be like. So
yeah, this is true. See, well, my wife, I was actually blessed because my wife used to work, for United Way with the NFL partnership and stuff. And so part of the reason why I started doing what I'm doing was because I ended up having all these different opportunities of being, around NFL players or being in facilities and things like that. So I started out because I wanted to share it with others. So for a while there, my wife used to wear an Eagles jersey because when Namdi signed with you guys, she had been working with Namdi for years. I know Namdi stole money from you. And so, this is a really cute picture of her actually wearing that jersey. And I was like, you look really good in that. I mean, wise, but I hate seeing that jersey. I mean, the look she has is kind of like,
oh man,
I want to rip that jersey right off.
That's
how come I originally started on this. And I tell you, this was actually crazy. Like I said, what I want people to understand is this. It's okay not to like the Dallas Cowboys or not to like the Eagles, but that doesn't mean that we got to go to, fist fighting. But unfortunately, there's some players out there that really take this, oh, you don't like Philly 500, so, I'm going to cuss you out. And, you're an asshole. It's like, dude, listen, I just don't like the Eagles. You don't like the Cowboys, but we can still be friends.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things memory that I will always have was being at the Super Bowl with the Eagles versus New England. I sat on the aisleway, we were on the
Oh
upper level.
wow, you were there.
I
So you
was
were in Minnesota.
I was in Minnesota. Okay.
Oh my God, man, it must have been freezing.
It was like 3 degrees after the game left. Now Minnesota, it's actually
Oh.
cool because they have the subways, all the subways converge at the stadium downtown. And when you're downtown, you could go from building to building. They have like these tunnels, skyways that link all the buildings. So you don't have to go outside, except when you went outside to get to the subway station. And
Mm.
because it's in mass, all these people, it took about 45 minutes of being in minus 3 degree temperature.
Oh
So it
man.
was cold as hell. But on the other side of the aisle was this Eagles couple that had been season ticket holders since 1973. And watching them, I mean, I got no dog in the fight. I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like, do I want a punch in the gut or a punch in the face? I don't care. I don't like either of these fan bases. But
Right.
watching the two of them rise and fall throughout this Super Bowl was actually a beautiful thing. And at the end, here it is, this old couple up here, I'm like, dude, can y'all get a room? But it was
Get
actually,
a room.
seriously, I was just like, I'm just too. I
Oh.
was just like, whoa, it's just too much. But seeing
Yeah.
the joy on them, it's what football is about. It's that agony at defeat. It's that joy when your team wins. It's being able to talk that trash to those Eagle fans, when they lose and stuff. That's what football's all about. It shouldn't be about hating each other.
Yeah, and it is like that. There's some content creators that take it a little extreme. Like, I'm not gonna go after you, Mark, and say, "Oh, you're this and that." Start making fun of how you look and all that stuff. Now I'm taking the football out of it. I'm attacking Mark the character, and I'm not about that. Like, don't attack me as a man, as a person, if you don't really know who I am. But besides that, if we're having that kind of debate that shouldn't even be on YouTube. But I understand, you're gonna have the crazy Eagle fans that don't care what I say, but they're still attacked. You're gonna have the Cowboy fans that don't care what I say and still be on the attack. But you guys are just gonna have to miss us with that because we're miles ahead of that stuff. I don't got time to waste on that one particular guy because he wants to talk bad about me myself, and we're not even talking about football. You're just trying to
Mhm.
talk to me about my character, and
Yeah.
like Mark says, we don't got time for that. But as long as you keep it football, of course the Cowboys are trash and all that stuff. We know that, but I'm not gonna come at Mark and just totally disrespect the man. So I understand, and you got such a big platform. I don't even know how you even see all the comments and all that stuff because it's got to be crazy because I'm not even close to that, and sometimes I have issues. These comments be flying, and trying to read it's like a whole show. I don't know how you do it, but respect to you, and then also the troll world out there, and like you said, you deal with a lot of people on the fan
Yeah.
base that just can't stand Dak. They want him to fail in every which way but loose, and then you got your supporters. But as long as you're just being true to the game, what Mark sees with Mark eyes, and obviously your fan base has been riding with you, so obviously you're doing it correctly.
I don't know if it's my fan base or fan base and haters. You
Oh.
mentioned about how I shout out to the ladies and stuff. I just remember that, the way some guys were with like when the ladies would come in. I remember a comment in particular. This guy said, "Shut the F up and go make me a sandwich." And the
Ooh.
funny thing was, most of the ladies that come in really know football. In fact, most of them know more football than most of these so-called fans out there that, the same ones that'll say, "Oh, get rid of Jalen Smith, trade him for a good player and a second round pick." And it's like, dude, ain't nobody gonna trade a ham sandwich for Jalen Smith. That sounds great in theory, but do you understand football at all? And so most of the ladies in there were really truly knowledgeable and things like that. And on my channel, like I said, I like to try and welcome everybody. All I ask is, don't go after, individuals. Some people can just be,
Right.
their whole thing is, I'm just trying to be an asshole. It's like, most of my fan base, I'm 55 years old, are, say 35 to 55 years old and want to actually really talk about football. Yeah, will I get a little bit crazy and, and say, your team sucks? Yeah, I'll do a little bit of that stuff, but it's not
Yeah.
anything personal. I mean, that's all what I grew up in watching football, listening to my dad and his cousins or my uncles and things like that. It's just typical trash talk. It was never any hate between us, but it was the fun of football.
Right. Let's see, Nikki says, not meaning to troll, but the team from Dallas has a massive ego culture problem. Until that gets addressed, I don't see the team from Dallas going deep into the playoffs. Are you taking shots at Mark already?
You know what? You actually hit the nail on the head. Um, Something actually happened to me just a couple of weeks ago that really just kind of opened up my eyes more than anything else. And I caught some flack even saying this to some fans, but the for me, okay, I went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and
Yeah, that was
being
awesome.
oh my God. Okay. I mean, even meeting, with Harold Carmichael, I actually had an Eagle fan who said that her husband was a diehard Harold Carmichael fan. If there's any way I could just get something autographed by him, if you could do that, it would be great. And so I got him giving him a shout out, which to me was great. And meeting Harold Carmichael and talking to him, was awesome. But I'm literally at Drew Pearson's post induction party, and if you're a Cowboy fan, I mean, to have Roger Staubach, Bob Lilly, Tony Dorsett, Cliff Harris, Doug Cosby, Tom Landry, so all of these Cowboys people that were part of the Making America's team are there talking and roasting Drew Pearson. For me, it was like a drop your mic moment. And the crazy thing is most Cowboy fans could care less. And it's like, hold up, wait. It's like, wait a minute. Whenever you have a discussion with an Eagle fan that comes to you and says, you've never seen a Super Bowl in high def, 26 years of being irrelevant and all that, the first thing they'll say is, we got 5 rings. But
Yeah.
yet, you don't know anything about those guys that earned it. You don't know anything about those teams that earned it. But you're
Yeah.
quick to say, we got 5 rings. And it was kind of
Right.
like, if you don't appreciate those people that earned those, you don't have the right to say that 5 rings.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And some, especially like if you're born in the 2000s, it's really hard for me to hear someone say, we got 5. Like, wait, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But I totally get it. Like if you're, even going back to history, if we go back to the whole, you got to accept all the football. So the Eagles had championships before, long ago.
World
But I
championships,
can't.
yes.
Yeah.
Before I
So
was born.
right. But am I gonna, slap a Cowboys fan, and say, hey, well, we got those championships. I wasn't even born, but it's that whole debate. But the whole thing is that, Eagle fans been getting it because they did not win the Super Bowl yet. But you know what, Mark? Like, I started liking the Eagles when it started with Randall Cunningham, and I just was amazed at what he was doing, and I just stuck it out. So I started learning more about Philadelphia, the blue collar mentality, starting to get to know more fans, and then the whole McNabb Westbrook era, the whole To thing, and the sit ups at the house, and it was just like, I think McNabb brought like a little bit more to light the Philadelphia Eagles. The limelight was in Dallas in the '90s, with
Yeah.
Emmett, Aikman, and Irvin. So it's like we started getting a little bit of shine, which no one was talking about the Eagles as much. And then McNabb got a lot of slack for that, but I have much respect for McNabb for what he did. He almost got one from Brady. Just unfortunately, things just did not work out.
Hmm.
Dallas did take that shot at Mr. To, and fortunately, he came back in the Super Bowl. Was he 100? I don't know, but he
I
looked
gotta
pretty
tell you
damn
that.
good.
Hold it. Okay. I was actually at that Super Bowl in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Okay. And seeing Don McNabb toss his cookies there. Okay. And T.O. coming back from the injury.
Yeah.
The fact that he even played in that game and played
Yeah.
lights out. That's actually, I never have been, I'll be honest, I've never, ever been a T.O. fan, even when T.O. was in Dallas. Because
Yeah.
T.O. was a little too much me, just
Oh
everything
yeah.
about me. But he earned my respect in that game that night. And it was a damn shame that they didn't win that Super Bowl. Although being a Cowboy fan, I couldn't see you guys win. I just couldn't. That would have hurt.
But the thing is, like, as far as like, I was, he's McNabb is one guy I wish he could have got that Super Bowl for Philadelphia, because like I'm a fan of, like, how they're like, they kind of like had a stigma where like the minority quarterback can't do it. It's just been, Caucasian quarterbacks are our quarterbacks for NFL.
Oh,
So
oh,
me,
dog. You know how old I am, right? I am
I'm
back in the '70s because when they had Joe Gilliam and
right.
Terry Bradshaw, that was
You're
like
right.
earth shattering that they actually had a black quarterback on there. And to see Doug
Right.
Williams, who was much maligned at Tampa Bay, which lets you know the difference between coaching between Jim McKay and going to Tampa Bay and all that versus Joe Gibbs. And when he won the Super Bowl, that was literally earth shattering. So by the time McNabb came through, you already had Randall Cunningham, who was, Randall revolutionized football. For me, watching Randall, as we call Randall the Vandal, seeing him being able to literally jump over people and just make plays. The sad thing for Randall Cunningham was having Buddy Ryan as the coach. Could you imagine if Randall Cunningham had had, like, a Mike Seifert or even, just a good coach that
Yeah.
actually understood offense? Because when you saw him when he went to Minnesota that one year, that was just literally unbelievable. And it's a shame
Right.
because his career was truly wasted uh, with Buddy Ryan.
Jock Talk. I'm 2 years older than Mark, so I've seen the Cowboys championships. They do have a great rivalry, Eagles versus Cowboys. And how about that? Do you think the Eagles and Cowboys rivalry is more talked about than the Giants and Washington? Do you think it's up there, or who do you
I would say recent history, it's more Eagles and Cowboys than, back in the '70s and '80s. It was truly Cowboys and
what
Washington. I
Washington?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that was always because I grew up here in Northern Virginia,
Right.
and when it was Cowboys Washington week, it was literally the air was electric. Fans today don't understand what it used to be like because players played for the same team. There was no, we're going to go work out in Arizona in the off season and hang out, or we're going to change jerseys. No, if you're Randy White, you were going to be a Cowboy all your career. Cowboys were family. It wasn't about money because, like Cliff Harris taught me, it just literally blew my mind. Cliff Harris later on in his career, his off season, he worked for an oil company. The off season, the oil company literally gave him an ultimatum: either you're going to work for the Cowboys, or you're going to work for us. You're not going to do both. And you're sitting there thinking about if you had an NFL player who's a star, a Super Bowl winner, that's working for your company, you'd bend over backwards to say that he's part of your company. But that's the way it was back then. Knowing
Right.
that Chuck Bednarik, they called him Concrete Charlie because he was a cement guy. If you had a driveway you need to get done in the off season, call Concrete Charlie. He'd take care of it. And
Right.
so seeing these players and what they went through back in the days, and that rivalry between the Cowboys and Washington. Unfortunately, the '70s weren't kind to the Eagles. It wasn't
Right.
until the first Super Bowl that they lost. I can't remember who you lost to in that Super Bowl.
Raiders and
1988. Yeah, that's it. It was the Raiders.
Eagles and Raiders.
But yeah, but I remember Ron Jaworski in that Super Bowl. I remember Harold Carmichael in that game, and how the city of Philadelphia literally changed overnight because it was always kind of like, okay, where's it coming from this time? We know it's going to be bad, but seeing that evolution was actually pretty amazing. So,
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, it was Washington, Dallas, but more lately, of course, between Dak and Carson Wentz, it's been more Eagles, Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think it's good for the sport. Like I said, the NFC East right now, you can laugh at the East, but I believe it's going to be coming back with a vengeance. If Jalen Hurts is what we expect him to be, I would love to see Jalen versus Dak, for years to come. So a lot of things are, hopefully you got the right pieces around him. It's funny because we find ourselves, Eagle fans talking all that smack on Dak and everything.
Mhm.
and we kind of find ourselves in like a sort of Dak situation. You know, Dak was picked. Was it fourth? He was fourth round pick, or was he a
Fourth
third?
round,
Fourth round.
fourth round
You
pick.
know, like you said, you even did a little a segment on him. And got barely got sneezed on the views and stuff. So you know, here comes this guy, and you know, Skip Bayless, as I call him, as I refer to him. You know,
Skip,
he goes Skip
skill.
goes crazy, goo goo gaga over him over the preseason. I believe it was against the Rams, and I believe it was in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
And you know, it just seemed like, oh, here we go, overhyping the preseason, and this is, you know, goo goo gaga. This is just preseason, guys. It's preseason. But here he goes, and he lights up the season, gets 12 wins. Right? It was a 12-win
Hmm.
season that year, and he, I believe he won rookie of the
Oh,
year.
actually 13 wins. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
13.
Hmm.
So it was 13 wins, you know. So I think that we could have potentially like a Dak ish, you know, situation where if Jalen can just do, you know, hit his, you know, reads, and you know, if you got to run, you got to run, but I don't want him running all the time because of injury reasons. And we can get like eight, maybe get 8 or 9 this year, and we could build around him. Exactly what Dallas did. They just build him around and look at the weaponry.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you could say the defense is, you know, that's the weak spot or whatever. You know, they're trying to build that, but I rather you have the nucleus that you build around. Dax got paid. You know, this we got to see how he does. You know, recovery wise on his ankle and stuff like that. I think I want to give Dak at least a month or a month and a half to where I feel he's comfortable, because I feel like he might be just kind of adjusting his weight
Hmm.
versus like, because I mean, you having an injury like that, how long do you think it takes your body to be really comfortable without babying that side of the injury? Because I know when I hurt something, I always shift the weight a little bit where I just don't put that much pressure on it and all that. Do you think
That's
he's
true. That's very true. Well, I'll tell you. Here's what a couple things, because we so Nikki. Sorry, I can't step over to the dark side, girl. You know, I appreciate the offer, but I just can't do that. You know, I grew up being a Dallas Cowboy fan in my man cave here. I got so much Cowboys paraphernalia. I'm too old to start all over. You know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Um, there's a lot to be said for coming back from an injury like that. And if you were a wide receiver or a running back and things like that, where you're going to constantly get pounded, it would be scarier than being a quarterback. With the rules today, of course, you get really protected, and Dak will end up having to, you know, take it easy with the ankle. Although the bones being fused, they say, are stronger than your regular bones, but you still in your mind mentally, that first play, that first hit, that first tackle, first time you go to the ground is traumatic. I tore my ACL, and 3 weeks later, after having it scoped, I was actually playing football. And people say you're lying, but back in the day, it was the scope was new, and they just went and they cleaned it up. I 3 weeks of therapy, and I was literally back and playing football in high school. For the Cowboys, if you look back at the Cowboys in 2014, Tony Romo had a discectomy on his back. When he first came back, the first game against the 49ers, he had about 200 yards passing, 3 interceptions, and it didn't look like he could throw the ball 25 yards down the field. And that was actually a blessing in disguise, because the Cowboys started relying on DeMarco Murray and started running the football more to give Tony Romo more time to get himself together. And what I see the Cowboys doing, if this really is an injury that is still healing, is you don't necessarily have to go down the field with the football. You
yeah,
have so many different weapons that you can spread the ball out. You
yeah,
can start using a screen game with Zeke Elliott or Tony Pollard. You can be
yeah,
hitting CD Lamb, you know, in the slot. So, you know, there's ways to kind of you can work to let him get back into the groove and, you know, build up
yeah,
as the season goes on.
yeah? Because that's where I'm kind of at with that. Like if I had a, you know, a crystal ball and I told you, hey Mark, would you rather Dak not play for, okay, say he's gonna miss 3 weeks, right? If I
Mhm.
told you he's gonna miss the first 3 weeks of the season, and you'll have him a healthy Dak for the rest of the season, Would you want that, or you play him now and risk an injury, re-injuring his shoulder or whatever you want to say, whatever it could be for 6 weeks? What would you rather have? And it would be could be late December or in November. What would you? Well, can it be late? No, it would have to be November. So, what would Because I know Cowboy fans, they really want him out there and all that. But like I said, if this really something to this shoulder thing, or if it's something else, would you rather him just wait even up to 3 weeks before he goes out there?
The reality of football is every play, you're one play away from being retired. You can get hurt at
Okay.
any point. I mean,
Okay.
and quite frankly, um, you got to go if you're physically able to play and you're not necessarily doing any more damage and you can perform, you got to play.
All right. I believe he did play. Okay, remember? I believe it was
Against you
against the
guys,
Eagles. And what was the problem there? Was it his shoulder? Was it
his
his
shoulder.
throwing
It was
arm?
actually his shoulder. He had gotten
The
hurt
same
against
arm?
the Rams.
Was it
Uh,
the same arm? Was it his throwing arm?
it was his throwing arm. Yeah.
Hey, so
Now,
there might be something to
now,
that.
well, no. Here's what I'm going to tell you happened. I can tell you exactly what happened. It's actually his lat. It's not the shoulder. It's not the rotator cuff or anything like that. It's actually the shoulder muscle, the lat muscle that's right here. And
Okay.
here's the thing that most people think is, you got a great strong arm. But see, it's beyond just your arm. If you know baseball and pitching, you know that your body is also pulling everything through it. It's not just the arm and the shoulder, but it's even the other arm that actually pulls the body through to really put that juice on the football. It is being able to plant your foot and push off. It's a whole whipping action when you throw the football, which is why if you've watched Ben DiNucci, whenever he gets under pressure, it's just like he's just side arming and he's not putting any body into it, and the pass has no oomph on it, and it's just ugly and ends up being intercepted.
Right. Right.
So this is actually a muscle strain that's in the back that they're just trying to make sure that it heals up and doesn't linger to be in shape on there. I don't think it's going to be that bad of an injury. He could go out and play right now had if they want him to. But going to this whole thing of being 100%, is anybody actually 100% by the middle of the season?
Not. I mean, yeah. I mean, some fans want to say he's 100, but his body's not 100 because we got to remember we're coming back off of surgery. So, like I said, you got to give it time. And I know, take it from an
Well,
Eagles fan watching Carson Wentz. I don't know who made the decision for him to come back, but somebody made the decision. And okay, I'll ask you this, Mark. Who would you want to make the decision on coming back? Do you want the organization to make the decision for him to play, or do you want Dak to make the decision?
I think Dak should, and Dak is chomping at the. Dak is the one that's saying, "I'm fine." And when you play football, if people have really played football, you play injured. You just do, and it's basically from week one. It's just a question of who is injured the least by the end of the year. Brad Johnson literally at some point, one of the years, he was talking about only having about a 40% gripping capacity and still out there playing because of nerve damage and stuff in there.
Right, right.
This is something you just get
Yeah,
used to. I mean,
yeah,
think about he's now down with the Texans. He was with the Chargers last year. He was getting a shot in the ribs to deal with pain, and they
yeah.
punctured his lung. And this is early in the season. This is like week 2.
Sort
You're
of.
going to you're going to be in pain. You're going to be
Yeah,
injured. You're going to have issues that are out there.
yeah.
The thing is a lot of times we'll hear, oh, he's got turf toe or he has a high ankle sprain. He'll be back in 4 or 5 weeks, but being back doesn't necessarily mean that you're back fully. You can look
Exactly.
at
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is back on the field, but do you think
Right.
Carson Wentz right now is 100%? Having
Nah,
foot
I mean
surgery?
they're showing him running out there, but I wouldn't throw him out there from the beginning. It's just
You
I've
better put
already
the rubber out.
been, we've already been there and done that with Carson.
Right.
So
Um, you know, uh, Joe Burrow, he's still not ready to go, but they're saying, well, he might be able to go for the first game. You think he's going to be 100%?
right. Yeah.
So it's all relative in there on what you're being able to do. The key for the Cowboys is hopefully the defense steps up to the point where it doesn't have to be where Dak's got to throw 50 passes, 60 passes in a game.
So what's that number now? From 50, where are you comfortable at? 30, nice 30,
30 to 40. You
30
want
to
to have a
40.
balance up, but more than anything else, what you really want to do is you want to get Zeke Elliott the ball in space. Because if you're looking at just saying we're going to run between the tackles with Zeke Elliott as a battering ram, you're going to kill his career. I mean, it's going to be short lived. If you can get him on the outside in the screen pass, where instead of
Yeah.
going up the middle and I'm getting tackled and having 300-pound guys that are falling on me, if I get him outside with the football where he's getting hit by glancing blows from cornerbacks or safeties and linebackers, you'll prolong his career more so than you will with him going up the middle. And ideally, if the Cowboys can start spreading it around, and it will keep teams from being able to put 8 men in the box, because if we put 8 men in the box, okay, we're going to hit Amari Cooper out here, or we're going to hit CD in the slot, or we're going to hit Michael Gallup. And it's basically going to be a pick your poison type offense. But one thing I wanted to actually go to your team. We've talked a lot about my team. If I were an Eagle fan, and this is where I have a hard time trying to explain this kind of thing to Cowboy fans, I got called, every name in the book, because in 2018, when the Cowboys were having all kinds of issues, I think it was 2018, and Zeke was being suspended, I was like, it might not be the worst thing in the world if we lose to Washington and just kind of, lose out. I said, we'll finally get rid of Jason Garrett. We'll,
Oh, yeah, I remember
have
that.
higher draft picks and stuff. And people were like, "Are you crazy? You don't ever want to give up on winning. You're not
Yeah,
really a Cowboy fan." I mean, literally, I had people that literally just started hating me. But in
yeah,
retrospect, we didn't make the playoffs. We still kept chasing Garrett because they played just enough to keep him, and it prolonged the process. You guys are actually in a great position because you can find out, is Jalen Hurts the guy,
hmm,
right? This is sink or swim for Jalen Hurts. You'll get at least that second, on top of what you've already got for Carson Wentz, maybe a first. Who knows if he can
hmm,
stay on the field?
right.
You have tons of draft picks. You can clear out some of the cap room, getting rid of the older players, and you can start the process of building that new team. Because
Hmm.
ideally, you want to get a group of young guys that are, that buying into the system, that are good player, that core group of players, and let them grow and develop together. So that way, 2 or 3 years down the road, you got a juggernaut. And that's the
Right.
problem for the Cowboys, that they've never been bad enough where they've gotten down that low to get there and
Hmm.
really improve, except in 20 after the 2015 season. That's where we got Dak,
Yeah.
Zeke, Anthony Brown, and Malik Collins. We literally loaded up on that draft, and that was the talent that started us going. In the same way, getting Jimmy Johnson in the 1-15 season led to us getting enough talent that we could win. And that's where you guys are really on the cusp of it. And if you end up winning enough games, it really kind of screws that up. I mean, if you go 8-8, oh sorry, 8-9, or 9-8, it's going to stunt that future great team possibility.
Yeah, but it all rides on Hertz. If this is a great looking Hertz at 9-8, then
Yeah,
I'll take it, and we can, get a starting corner here and another O line piece and stuff like that. So
right.
I'll be happy with it, because to be honest with you, I don't want the Deshaun Watson deal. I think maybe Washington could, if, if it's tragic over there. I think I don't. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, but I
I
know
don't.
the Eagles are going to be the talk of the town for, because we got all the draft capital and all that stuff. But I actually don't want him on the team. That's just my opinion. But what I will say to you, Jerry, Mark, is
What
I was
you got
about to get
for
to
me?
Jerry. Was like, when I look at the Cowboys and stuff, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that the reason why the Cowboys struggle a lot in a lot of the seasons was
Mhm.
because I feel Jerry Jones meddles with too many of, like, inside coaching stuff that needs to just be kept with the coaching and the players. And I feel that Jerry Jones just kind of meddles in with too much stuff where it just interferes with the season, and problems start to happen in the locker room, whether it's right or wrong. Do you feel like that, or you think Jerry Jones is just minding his own business?
Well, here's what my okay.
I'll be
I'm
careful with it.
superstitious.
Right.
In case you didn't know I have a voodoo doll, but I am superstitious, and I feel like when Jerry Jones fired Jimmy Johnson, it was just like the football gods just said, we're going to put a hex on you guys, okay? And Jerry Jones, no matter how hard he tried, it just would not work. I mean, the Cowboy, we found more ways to lose football games than you can imagine. I would literally sit here, we'd be up by 2 scores, and I would sit there and say, okay, how are we going to lose it this week? I mean, you look at things like the catch no catch. You look at things like Tony Romo bobbling an extra point. You know what I'm saying? You look at drafts where, we draft Taco Charlton. Somebody was saying, did I see he got cut? Instead of, getting JJ Watt. And it's kind of like, how does this keeping Jason Garrett for all those years? Even though Jason Garrett seemed like he was like a little league coach, good job, Johnny. Here's your participation trophy. We'll get him next year. That's what it always felt like to me.
Yeah.
But this felt like Jerry Jones having a come to Jesus moment this year. From finally saying, you know what, Dak Prescott's got all the leverage. We're going to get the deal done. And finally stopping negotiating that thing in public.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Right.
kind of like the crazy thing. Then going out and getting Dan Quinn and allowing Dan Quinn to pick the kind of guys that he wanted on that defense, as opposed to Jerry Jones saying, you're the coach. Here's the players I'm going to give you and things. And even Jerry Jones now not being that front and center press guy, where he's kind of stepped back in the shadows a little bit. The whole thing with Jimmy Johnson and putting him in the Ring of Honor and realizing and finally saying, I fucked up. I don't know why. I fucked it up. Maybe it's kind of like the cathartic moment that maybe changes the narrative for the Cowboys and changes their mojo. I don't know. That's the way I'm going into the season and looking at it. That maybe Jerry's ego will finally have stepped out of the way, because he certainly micromanaged the team. The fact that he has 2 suites. He has his main suite that seats about 150 people, and then there's an elevator that goes up to his GM suite, which has the phone that goes down onto the field, which is just a small suite where he's literally up there, the puppet master and stuff. So yes, Jerry Jones has fucked it up over the years.
Yeah. And well, the owner that passed for the Raiders, what was his name? I don't
Al
know.
Davis.
Okay. Yeah, I also feel that Jerry Jones and I believe they were like really good buddies, but I feel like they're like one and the same guy. Because
Hmm.
how much did Al meddle over there with the Raiders, and how and they've been like having that curse sort of deal. Luckily, they were in the Super Bowl in the 2000s, but I just feel that him and Al are kind of like almost the same, and
Yeah, they were.
I just like you said, it could be that dang curse with letting Jimmy, and I mean I don't know how much longer Jerry's gonna ride this on, but I feel in a way I kind of feel bad for him, because I kind of feel that right now he's just like I looked at his presser on Hard Knocks, and he was getting teary, a little bit emotional there, right there, but you
Yeah.
could just tell that he's just like, God dang it, guys, come on, guys, like. So being that said,
Wait a
what
minute. Jack,
is?
hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, he said first round pick for the Jags is out for the season. Wow. Damn.
Oh, Taco.
No, he said Travis, the Jags first round pick is out for the season.
The quarterback.
No, no, Travis. They had multiple picks.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay. Um, talk about dodging a bullet. Cowboy fans wanted to get Urban Myers as a coach. I am so glad that did not happen, because looking at Urban Myers, bringing in Tim Tebow, and the way that offense has been playing there in Jacksonville, he literally looks like a deer caught in the headlights.
So that's being what is Mark Holmes' expectation for the Cowboys this year? What should happen? Where will Mark be satisfied? What do you want to see happen? I know it's Super Bowl for everybody, but
No, no, yeah, yeah.
what where will you be comfortable?
Don't say that word. I'm not saying that word. Don't do that.
Okay, all right.
Right now, I think the Cowboys, if they can stay healthy, that they can win the division and make the playoffs. And if we can do that much, we'll see what happens from that point. That's all I'm putting out there. I look at your schedule and my schedule. We both have cakewalks. Okay. I mean, as opposed to Washington, yeah, Washington, of course, they're feeling themselves right now. They're talking trash and they're out the woodwork and everything else. But they've got 3 games that we don't have, and that's Buffalo, Green Bay, and Seattle. You also have to, of course, know that we all have Kansas City and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Washington's going to be playing some real deal quarterbacks, and
Oh yeah.
I think they're going to get a rude awakening. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm sorry, they keep acting like he's Joe Montana coming back. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been around a lot of teams because
Yeah.
not the
I
guy.
I think they're hoping for a Kirk Cousins crazy year. I think that's what the hope is there. But realistically, I can't go with Fitz right now. Like you said, he's the dude's been around the block. So it's like, how
Yeah,
long can he keep doing this? But I mean, he's gonna have some great games. There's gonna be at least
4.
5 or 6.
There's usually 4.
Four
Fitz magic usually does a disappearing after 4.
after 4. Okay, so how do you want Dak to approach this season?
Realizing that this is a marathon, and I'm hoping it's not just Dak that realizes this. I'm
Okay,
hoping that it's the team that realizes, okay, we've got a good schedule. We've got a convergence of good players that are, between young and experienced, that we have an opportunity to do something, and that they take this season in that grasp. I, I sat out there in my fire pit the other night, and it's just like, you guys, when you look at the Hall of Famers, you look at Super Bowl champions, it's immortality. Just take 6 months of your life and just say, it is only about football. Fuck the partying, fuck the hanging out, fuck taking risks on getting COVID. Just say, I'm going to do everything I can right now to become immortal in football. And that's the key. If they can stay focused on just one thing, and that's football, I think they could actually have some good things happen to. And maybe that's the homer in me that sees it.
yeah,
Sees that. Of course, people will say, "Yeah, well, you say that every year," but it feels different on the defensive side of the football. The Cowboys have not given me a lot of hope in defense in the last 26 years. We've had 2 decent defenses that time. 2007, of course, the year that the snap was bobbled, and 2014, we were second in taking away the football, and of course, that was the catch no catch. And that goes
right.
to where I say Jerry Jones's bad mojo came through and destroyed us with freak
The
play.
the ghost of Jimmy, huh?
Yeah,
Honest opinion on Coach McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, watching Hard Knocks, it seems like he works too hard to have to cuss. When
Oh yeah, I was hearing about that. Yeah,
it's kind of like, are you doing this for the cameras or you just don't cuss now?
yeah.
What is it? But
Maybe
Mike McCarthy doesn't have to be necessarily the great coach. Jimmy Johnson said, if it weren't for my assistant coaches, I'm not here. Because that head coach, he doesn't really have hands on with all of the players. He is like the CEO that doesn't necessarily know how to make the sausage, but I got the guy who knows how to make the sausage out there working for me. And that's the thing. Cowboy fans don't like Kellen Moore, but you look at the points and stuff and the way the offense has been able to move the football, I'm okay with Kellen Moore. But the defensive side, until this year, you can't say that you've had anything spectacular. And as much as Cowboys want to say Dak is trash and all that, because, he's garbage time, you're not winning with a defense that's given up 29.6 points a game. You're not.
right. Thank you for everybody tuning in. I'm almost done with. Give me your top 5 Cowboy players in your eyes. Your top 5
You mean right now or all time?
all time.
Number 1 is Roger Staubach. Yeah,
All right.
because, I mean, he was my hero. Number 2, I would actually have to say, now learning more of Drew Pearson's story, I'd have to put Drew Pearson in that top 5.
All right.
Randy White, definitely. Michael Irvin, and I would say Charles Haley because I went to school with him and I know him personally, but I can't do that because I got to take the personal part of it. The other one would be, who would the other one be? Probably be Bob Lilly because he was the original Hall of Fame.
A lot of Cowboy fans are gonna be like, "Who are those guys?" Like you were talking
And
about
the
earlier.
sad thing is, look him up. Trust me, look him up.
All right, let's see. Here's a fun one. You're stuck on an island. You get 2 items to survive. What are those 2 items?
2 items.
You get two
Swiss,
items. Stuck. Mark
Swiss
stuck.
Army
Mark
knife,
Holmes stuck on an island.
Swiss Army knife, and
All
an
right.
batteried cell phone with internet.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Chilling with. So you're gonna be doing coconut water and then some fishing right there. We can get the
Hello, friends.
shrimps.
Mark Holmes here, reporting on the deserted island,
Yeah, there you go.
sweating my ass off.
Hey, you might bring your podcasting equipment. That'd be
There
a
you
great
go.
show.
There you go.
All right. If I can guarantee you a Super Bowl this year, but the only catch is I get to burn Cowboyjobu at the stake, would you do it?
No,
No,
can't do it.
Cowboy fans. Oh
I can't.
man, he's
I'm
saving Cowboyjobu, guys.
I'm gonna say this. Okay, I used to stutter. I'm actually dyslexic. I am, not real good looking. I'm believe me, technology challenged. But for whatever reason, things have happened since I've had Jobu. And sometimes there's strange things because I go around and I say, did that shit really happen? Give me an example, okay? I've always been against Stephen A. Smith and stuff, right?
Yeah.
When the Super Bowl was in Houston, I wanted to go to be on the set because Dak was going to be on the set. I overslept. By the time I got down to the ESPN set, the line to get in there went around the block three times. I mean, 3 times. There's no chance. And I'm standing out there, and I've got Jobu, and I'm just kind of doing like a little quick video. And a fan comes up and says, "Hey, man, I follow your show all the time," and we get talking about it. So I'm having Jobu interview him, right? And then one of the producers from ESPN says, "Guys, come with me." Okay, so they grabbed like 20 of us, and they took us around the side and stuff. And there was going to be the intro for the show. So here it is, Stephen A. Smith, Molly's there, and what's his I can't remember the other his name, but they're like 10 feet in front of us. So I'm kind of like, how does that happen? I overslept, I get here, and now we're in the beginning of First Take. But it gets even crazier because after we taped this, and I've got to go back on Facebook and find this because it was lost on my other channel. Stephen A. Smith comes through and he's thanking all of us for coming on through, and he's giving high fives, right? So I'm holding up Jobu and I say, "Stephen A." And he puts his hand up and it looks like he's hitting Jobu because Jobu's hand gets caught into his jacket and goes flying. So it looks like he's punched Jobu in the face.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, there's no footage of that, huh?
Oh, no,
Dang,
I think I have it buried. It's somewhere on Facebook right now.
man, you gotta show that.
Stephen A. Smith assaults Jobu. And it's kind of like,
oh man,
did that fucking happen? And it's always been kind of like things like that have gone through, and it's kind of like, did that really happen? It's like, I kind of look at Jobu with the side eye. So no, I can't. I couldn't part.
You know what I can't stand about Jobu is that as a child I was like terrified of a voodoo doll, and there was this voodoo doll, and I don't know if you remember the actress Linda Blair.
Yeah,
she came in. There was some like terror, something. You can see it on YouTube, but this voodoo doll has this little chain wrapped around its body.
Teeth on it.
You remember that? Yeah, dude. And
that
that thing scared the crap out of me. And then when I finally seen Mark Holmes' show, I mean, if I actually was at your house, I would tell you, Mark, first of all, you got to get Jobu out of this house because I'm not going to be able to be comfortable because of that damn voodoo doll.
Dude. Jobu's a chick magnet.
A chick magnet.
I'm serious. every time I go some,
Really?
put him up the bar. Hey, like, hey, what's going on? What's this? It's like that's Joe Boo. I mean, seriously, dude. And,
I
and, and,
thought.
and look, I'll tell you what. When I was out in California, um, this guy took me to this bar that he said was in the movie Lambada. I can't
Okay.
remember what the name of it was, but he's like, we got to go there and stuff. And I go there, and this is not, a welcoming bar for people of my skin complexion.
Okay.
This is a redneck bar.
Uh oh.
And I'm like looking around like, holy shit. So what do? I literally set Joe Boo in the middle of the floor and I started taking pictures of him. And everybody looks and turns like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay. By the end of the night, they got Joe Boo up on stage there. Confederate flag is flying up behind him with the country band and having a ball.
Oh
It's kind
boy.
of like, I don't know that I've been welcomed the same had I not had Joe Boo there with me.
Wow, I saved the day, huh?
He literally saved the day. So
Yeah. Let me know when you come back to Cali, man. Maybe we'll have to hook up, take you to a cool restaurant.
there you go.
It's called El Tapiac. It's a OG place, man. And this burrito feeds about a family of four, man. It was on Man versus
Man.
Food. He couldn't finish it, but yeah, there's a lot of cool places out here. And Chef Nick from Bar and Rescue Show,
Mhm.
he owns a bar right there in Santa Monica called the Whaler. I recommend you go down there if you're in Santa Monica. They
Right.
got a they got an Eagles bar out there called the Britannia. So when the Eagles fans get together, we will all hang out there. But yeah, let me know if when you do come in town, we'll hang out, find a cool place to eat. Something different on the West Coast over here. We got a lot
Sounds
of
great.
delicious Mexican food out here and stuff like that. So that'd be great. All right, well, let me get to this last question right here before you
Mhm.
have to go. You have to trade two players from your team to the Eagles and take two Eagle players. Who would they be?
Jalen Smith would be the first one.
Jalen
Jalen
Smith.
Smith and Ben DiNucci. Okay. Um, and I would
Oh,
probably take Fletcher Cox and Lane Johnson.
oh, that'd be crazy. That'd be
You would
some
do that.
wild stuff.
Cowboy fans that think that we could do that all the time.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
let's do that. Yeah, that's a great trade. Yeah, but
yeah.
nobody's going to do that trade.
Well. To be real, I've been hearing the rumblings about Fletch and Lane. I don't know, man. He's been missing games here and there, but
Mhm.
he might be like a little piece right here. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Fletch might be on the open market. Is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing. What I'm gathering over here. Let's see.
And in some regards, and that goes back to what I was saying, that you got to look and say, where we want to be in 2 years. And you start looking at guys like Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox. And if you can get good value for them, that's what New England has always done. New England doesn't hold on to guys. People don't get retirement rings in New England because they realize, they're going to get more expensive. They're going to get old. Let me get something for them now and replace them. And the fact that you would see New England win Super Bowls and then turn around and have 12 draft picks the next year is insane. That's how they win. They just have more picks and more talent than everybody else. Did you freeze up on me? I think you froze up on me. Mm-mm.
The internet. Okay.
Your internet froze? Okay. Birdman.
Damn, freezing. I think
That's on your end.
did it. Was I talking about?
It froze up
Joe?
on your end.
Is it Joe Boo? Is he playing games with me?
No, it's you. It's on your end. You froze up, bro.
Am I back, Mark?
You're back.
Okay. Joe Boo, don't be playing with the Birdman. Let's play
Yeah.
nice here, Joe Boo. Come on.
All right.
Let's play nice
I
here.
I have to actually run. I've actually appreciated it, Nikki. I appreciate the offer, Nikki. Okay, Was it Nikki?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if my Cowboys finally let me down, I'll take you up on that. Sports talk with Let Go Birds. Um, nice to see you here. And Ed Too Tall Jones is definitely another one. The problem is there's so many great Cowboys out there. It's hard to actually pick from. Well, it's not hard for me to pick from the old days. Most people, like you said, don't really know it. But I really appreciate you bringing me up on your show and things like that. And I'd definitely like to do some other things with you in the future.
Yeah, Mark, this has been fun, and yeah, don't be. Anytime you want to come to the show, no worries about it, and let's definitely keep in contact. And best of luck to you guys, even though we don't want really the best of luck to you guys. But well, this is going to be a fun season.
It definitely is. Yeah. Yeah, man. Best of luck to you guys too. And like I said, people don't take it personally when I talk bad about the Eagles and things. That's the way, I mean, what do you expect? I'm a Cowboy fan, but it doesn't have to be personal between you and me and everything else. We can trash each other teams and still be
Oh
friends.
yeah, we're going to do it. It's going to happen.
All righty.
But all right, Mark, rest up and take care. Say hi to the family, and we'll see you soon, man.
All right. Peace out, man.
Peace
Thank you
out.
very much.